Geeta Mohan, a Foreign Affairs Editor, also continues to be with us. Geeta, how is India going to raise this, and is India going to raise this at all, given that we've issued a very strong statement when it came to taking action against these so-called Khalistani, activists or who are indulging in anti-India activities in Canada? India has made its position very clear and registered a very strong protest already.
Well, that's right, and India continues to raise such matters. It certainly is going to have continued conversations on the Khalistani elements and the anti-India elements that continue to protest and raise anti-India slogans. Also, threaten our own diplomats and then pose a security threat to the diplomatic missions. Having said that, at the highest level, this matter has been raised. It has been raised at the Prime Minister's level. There can be no bigger or more important opportunity to engage Canada on something as serious as threats to our diplomats and the diplomatic mission. That has already happened, and even if that happens, with Canadian Prime Minister stuck in India with his plane having technical glitches, now we are told that the team that has come from Canada to rectify this problem, that problem has been solved, and the Canadian Prime Minister will be flying out of India. He was in New Delhi when those protests were taking place in Canada. So the report, he must have not just read but seen, watched the report, because Canadian channels do not play this up as much as it is reported in Indian media. So he surely has had an opportunity to see what is happening in Canada against India. And in all probability, it is now for the Canadian mission here and the Canadian government there to ensure that open threats to Indian politicians, to Indian diplomats, cannot be carried out on Canadian soil.
It's to be seen whether any action is taken or not. That really is a big question here, isn't it, Geeta? Now, given by what Canada, essentially, the government there has indicated in the past, they've always spoken about this as a freedom of speech and expression. This is democratic system, and this is how it works. They've always underplayed this threat, isn't it?
Absolutely. The fact that this has been a threat, and see, there's a very thin line between freedom of speech now in Canada and different there. Till the time it was about protesting, calling out for a cause, that is indeed allowed, Sneha, in Canada. And till the time it was peaceful, without a provocation, it was a different matter. Now, things have turned serious. Diplomats' pictures on posters, calling for the death of these diplomats, calling for the damage to property. And not so long ago, just the day before, when Canadian Prime Minister was here, there was also threats to politicians in India. And that certainly is a huge scare, and the Canadian administration now will have to define the difference between freedom of speech and anything that tantamounts to a